In this video, I'm going to show you 7 types of rolling pins to create the most fabulous and unusual collage papers. And make sure you stay to the end to see the result of my mad experimenting. Hello, my name is Catherine Rains. I'm a mixed media collage artist, and welcome to Tune In Tuesday, where I share weekly art demos to expand your mixed media toolbox. If you see value in my art demos, I would deeply appreciate a thumbs up, and if you would subscribe to my channel below. Links for all the supplies to make these papers are down under the description under the video. And you might also want to check out my free 5-day online workshop, Collage Kickstart, where I teach you how to use all the collage papers taught during Tune In Tuesday to make fabulous collages the very first try. So let's get into creating collage papers with rolling pins. So the supplies for rolling pin papers are obviously anything that rolls, not necessarily just a rolling pin. Now, I do have some rolling pins though. So these are actually rolling pins that you use for cake decorating. It's hard to tell because they got a lot of paint on them. Same for this, same for this. You roll different designs on cakes, I guess on top of icing. This is a regular old rolling pin. I got this for $1 at a dollar store. So the shapes that you see are on here are actually these. They're Wonder Foam sheets that you can get at a craft store or online. Again, there'll be links to this under the description for this video. And they're just sheets like this. And you cut this out in different shapes. They've got a self-adhesive on them and you just place them on a rolling pin. This is just a smaller rolling pin. I think I'm going to experiment with putting some string around this and create some different kinds of shapes. This is a lint brush that I also put that self-adhesive foam sheet on in different shapes. So nothing expensive about this. I believe this is a brayer. I lost the brayer part of it, but it still rolls, so it has some shapes. This is actually a condiment bottle that you can get in the grocery store. And again, I just added some of that self-adhesive foam. And this, I believe, is a jar for a bathroom, but it does roll and it creates beautiful textures on a collage. And you also need some papers. Now, you could easily do rolling designs on top of just plain old copy paper, tissue paper, could be drawing paper, but I thought it would be interesting to actually pull out some collage papers that I don't like that much. I've never used them. As you probably know, I only collage with papers that I absolutely adore, but I do keep a pile of ho-hum papers for this exact purpose, thinking that at some point I could do some kind of technique on top of them to revive them and get them into my love pile and actually used in a collage. I thought it would also be interesting to use the inside of envelopes for this as well. So I picked out a couple different envelope styles that I thought might be interesting as a bottom layer for our rolling pins. And as for paint colors, I'm going to use my trusted 3 primaries. I've got Phthalo Blue Green Shade, Quim Magenta, and Hansa Yellow Light. Again, these are Nova paints. It doesn't matter what kind of paint you use. You also probably want a piece of palette paper because we need something to roll on before we roll onto our paper itself. And one more note about these particular papers, these were all made with these 2 colors together, plus black and white. Therefore, anything I roll on top of them will harmonize with it. So I'll be looking for contrast. So since this is like kind of a teal blue, I'm probably gonna layer some either really light colors on top of this or really dark blue on top of this and see if I can get this into my love pile. So I'm going to pour out some paper because I think since this is, I guess it kind of medium shade, I'm going to put a dark on top of it. I'm going to start with this really plain one. I could also paint it on, by the way. Probably a more efficient way of doing it. Let's see. There's not one way of doing this. I'm painting it on part of this. So let's see what happens. Now, this is all an experiment. I never know what's going to happen. This one's nice because you can roll it both ways. Well, I already like it more. I don't love it though. So I'm gonna put it aside. Maybe I can put another layer on it and get it into the love category later. So let's see if we can do something with this. And put this aside. Now, a little more blue paint on here. I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of yellow to make it a little bit of a teal color. I don't want it to be quite so blue. And maybe just for fun, just add a drop of white. Okay, I like that color. Question is how to get this on here efficiently. So I'm gonna just try rolling it in here. Again, this particular rolling pin is, they use this in baking to put designs on top of icing. Ooh, now that's beautiful. The cool thing about rolling pins is you can roll them back and forth to get an even darker design. I love that. And I'm not gonna mess with that there. We'll just leave it just like it is. I think that is really quite gorgeous. So already that's in the love category, the simple little design. This is one of my favorites. Again, this is a cheap rolling pin I got from a dollar store, and I just put some self-adhesive foam on here in different designs. And the question is what to put on here. I think a little bit dark teal might be really beautiful in contrast to this paper. Mix this up. Oh, actually I've got a green here. So I think I need a little more blue and white. Now there's no formula for the colors I'm putting down. I am just playing with my limited color palette. So phthalo blue, green shade, and I really love that, but it's very close in color to that, but that might actually be okay because it won't create that much contrast. It'll just be an interesting design on top. So let's see, you never know until you do it. This particular rolling pin has actually two designs. I've got one going here and then one going here. So I'm gonna stick to this side for the moment, that one side. I can roll that nicely on there. Let's see how this works. Oh, that already made that interesting. Let me get a little more on here. Turn this around, down another piece of paper and get a 2-for-1 here. Nice. Now, I don't consider this in the love category yet, but it's got another layer that might make me like it. So I'm gonna let this dry a little bit and try more. But let me continue with this one while I'm here. Well, that's interesting. But you know, when I say it's interesting, that means I'm in the right ballpark, but it's not there yet. I'm gonna put this aside, let it dry, along with this one, and add another layer. Here's another one that already has like 3 or 4 layers already. I think the very bottom layer was a music score. So the question is what to put on top of this. I'm kind of thinking, take this color, make it much lighter. It doesn't have to be perfectly mixed up. And again, this is all a mad scientist routine here. I have no idea how this is going to work, but I do think I'm going to add this to it. Wow, I love that. I actually love that color. It's interesting, I got that blue on the other side. So I think I'm gonna let this dry a bit and I'm gonna try putting this on the other side too, on top of that. Now again, this is several different layers already. I think I got some crayon resist here from a previous demo. I'm gonna focus on that big circle. Now I'm gonna see if I can catch any extra paint here because this is a pretty big roller. I may once again get some of that on it, but I really want is this main design on this paper. Oh, I love that. I think I just love that color combination. That is really quite stunning. I can see we're pretty close to being in the love category if we're not already there. And I think I'm gonna just go for broke. And then I'm gonna put another paper here just to pick up any excess, but this is the one I'm shooting for here. And I've already got some paint on there, so it's gonna be interesting. Gonna be doing layer upon layer here. This just turned this into a paper I love, just like that. So I've got this little rolling pin. It's got some really interesting swirls on it. I love the textures this gives. The question is what color? And I'm thinking to make another light on top of this. So I want to go kind of blue on blue. Let's see how this works. Roll this in at first. It's like a nice coverage on the pin. And roll. Wow. So I know if I ever say the word wow, I've got something. And I love that a lot. Now this is actually another rolling pin thing. It was a paper that I hadn't really finished. So we'll get some rolling pin probably going across here. I have got a lot of papers that are just okay. And I'm always, when I'm doing these kind of techniques, I'm always looking for which of these techniques might actually finish the paper. So I want to use it, you know, in one of my collages. Wow. Love that too. That is terrific. Ah, just absolutely love that. And this is actually getting better. So this along the side was actually this a long time ago. And now I've got this beautiful baby blue. So let me see if I can... Just putting a second paper here just to catch any of the runoff as I finish this side off. Wow. Now, when I'm using this for a collage, I'm not using this whole page. I am going to be tearing off a piece of this. So like that little corner there, Like there's a big blob of paint there. I'm not sure if I like these blobs, but I love all of the textures, like that little corner there. So I'm looking for what parts of the paper I really love. And most of this one I'm crazy about. This is very usable in a collage. I'm gonna add a dark layer to this. Some darker paint, maybe a little yellow, because I like teal more than I like the phthalo blue by itself. But I like colors that are pretty close to each other, like that. They still show a contrast. I think I'm gonna use my other rolling pin for this one. Another piece of paper under here to catch the runoff. Let's see what this does. This one may have too much paint on it. Yeah, it looks good here, but it was too much paint right there. Yeah, I kind of like it, just very subtle. But this is not a favorite, which is perfectly okay. I can add another layer. But now I've got this one. So, being the mad scientist I am, I think I'm going to take this plain rolling pin. Again, this is actually from the Dollar Tree as well. I mean, it couldn't have cost me more than $1 or $2. I have 2 different sizes for string. I could get something that's more rope-like. What I'm going to do, I'm going to tie this at the end just to keep it steady. Tie this kind of haphazardly around here. I'm not trying to be perfect about this. I actually want it to be a little on the messy side. Only problem is these things move. Okay, so I'm putting some double-sided tape on the rolling pin, hoping that that can get it from moving too much. Not trying to make this a permanent rolling pin, just enough to stay still until I can roll it and paint. And gently roll this. Again, it's an experiment. We don't know what's gonna happen. This is rope that's pretty absorbent. Let's see if I can make this work. Well, it's not horrible, but me saying it's not horrible means it's primed for another coat. I think a thinner piece of string attached to here might be a better choice. That's better than it was before. So put this one aside. Maybe I'll try something else with it later. I think I'm gonna go back to this one, particularly that right there, which means I think I want that real light color again. Yeah, I think that's incredibly interesting. And I'm gonna do it on that side as well. Scratch piece of paper here. Much better. I mean, it's almost in the love category. I wish I'd gotten some paint on the side there, but you know what? It looks good as it is. Now this is a true piece of scratch paper. I think it was a blotting paper of some sort from many different experiments, and I think this would look absolutely beautiful on it. So I'm gonna put a bunch more of this blue paint on it. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, I love that. Absolutely gorgeous. And while I've got this thing loaded up with paint, this is the one I did earlier, and it's okay, but it doesn't feel finished to me at all. Let's see if I can magically make this work for me. That actually does work now for me. You know, this is always subjective. This is what appeals to me. The question is, what appeals to you? You know, something very different might actually be a yes paper for you, but for me, this would be a yes. I like this a lot. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna see if I can do something with this as well. There's still a lot of wet paint on here, which is okay. Something under here to catch the extra, because it's a small piece of paper. But I just think I want something, this thing right there, going right down the middle. That is pretty close to me loving it. Let me see if I can maybe do one other thing to it. I'm thinking I'm going to call that one done. I love it. Now I've got a lot of layers here, including some of the layers that came up from the last one. I'm going to try this lint brush that has some little triangles on it. The question is, what would be a good contrast on here? I'm just kind of liking the white right now. So I'm going to hand paint these. Okay. Not in the love category yet, but some more paint on it. These are absorbing paint. The paint was really heavy here, but not here. It came off on the first part of that roll. So add a bunch more paint. Let's try it on the other side. And I kind of have to carefully roll this, get it to work. Okay, still not it, but I'm liking all the different layers. So I'll put this aside temporarily. Now this one, I do like this, but there's something that feels kind of unfinished about it. So I'm gonna take this jar that has some texture to it, Now, it's a hard call whether I want to paint this on here or whether I want to roll it on here because there's a lot of paint on there. So I'm thinking it might actually too much. So I'm going to kind of paint it in. I don't want it to come off in huge globs. This one little piece that came from some bath store in the United States has become one of my all-time favorite mark makers. I've had it for a few years. I'm going to roll this right down the middle and see what happens. Again, I'm looking for contrast. So I've already got kind of darker colors. So a lighter color I think might look cool on here. Ooh, yes. Let's see if I can get it on the rest of the paper. Oh yeah, wow. That was a huge improvement to that. This one I like, but I don't love. So there's a contrast here between this and this. Could get it into the love category. So these papers that I'm making, this is the first of 5 different types of papers that I will make and then turn them into a collage. So every 5 different techniques that I do, I will do a video on how to put those 5 papers together. It just so happens the last time I did this, which was the last video, I actually did 7 papers, but usually it's 5. That I like, and I want to put it right down that middle here. It's a little risky because I already like this, but it's only paper and I've got lots of it. There's nothing to lose here and everything to gain. You know, I only use papers that I love. I want to keep playing with a particular paper until I can say, yeah, love it. For me, that improved it. I like all the different textures under there. That's an A-. I like it a lot. It's close to the love category. It's good enough for me. I do the same thing with this. Again, add some white. And because I already have a lot of blue down there, mixing it all up together turns it into a really sweet baby blue, which will be a lovely contrast for this. Could even be a contrast for that one as well. Oh, that's super cool. Like that even more. So let's see if I can improve this. I'm going to use this one again. I'm going to just roll it in it. Maybe even paint some on. Nothing to lose here. Yeah, I love that. That is gorgeous. If it worked on one, it'll work on both. I'll change the color a little bit, get more white in there. So I'm dragging any kind of extra paint into this mixture here. I don't want to waste anything. Not mixing it up perfectly because I like it kind of irregular when it goes down. That could probably use another coat of something, but at the moment I like it. So let's try one of these envelopes. I haven't used this yet. Some pretty bold marks there. So I'm gonna roll this in here. I don't know if I have enough paint or not, but I think I do. I'm gonna fill in any holes in the paint. Oh, very interesting. I might even do it over the cellophane here. Gotta reload. So most of that paint did come off. Okay, this is a start. It's not the end piece though. So that's one layer. Love this pattern on here. I think I'm gonna go for a darker color this time. Okay, I haven't used this. Roll this into it. Oh, I actually rather like that. Now, the simplicity of this actually will work really well in a collage. So I've got a little bit of texture underneath and I have some kind of quietness, even though there's some activity here. It kind of will blend into the background of a collage. So I think that we're going to keep it just the way it is here. This one has been patiently waiting on the side. This is a good color for that. It's a darker color to add some contrast. I don't know if this is going to work. This is a little teeny tiny roller. I haven't used this in a long time. Let's see what's going to happen. Again, we're just playing my mad scientist here. May work, may not, but if it doesn't, you can always put something on top of it, right? So let's see what happens. Oh, interesting. Well, I like and I don't like. It runs out of paint really fast. You know, the nice thing about collage paper is, so this piece, I'm not sure if I like it or not. I like the big bold blue, so I like this color on here. I think I'm going to put this aside and put this on it instead. Load this up. Let's see if I like this better. And I do. Now the fact that it's lighter right here is actually cool because now I have 2 possibilities. I've got a little bit darker and a little bit lighter. And then I've got this edge here. So if I can pick this up. Now, this is a paper on this side. 2/3 of this I love. This could use another something, but it doesn't matter. I have enough of this paper that I love, and I love the kind of circles underneath here. It makes a really cool effect. And now I've got this one. So I kind of have to finish it. And I don't know if I like that blue on there or not. I think I'm gonna lighten this up. So since I've already used this, I am going to continue with this particular one. Probably too much paint on it though. I'm gonna try to scrape some of it off. So when I'm doing experiments like this, I make a point of leaving no paint behind. I will keep going no matter what I do here and try to use every single ounce of that paint. And if I don't, whatever I don't use, I will make into a skin. Okay, So love that. That's too blobby. Let me see if I can make this a little more something I like. Yeah, I actually do like it. You really can't even tell that I had made something. So again, a piece of collage paper, I don't have to like the whole thing, because if I were going to use this, which I probably will, I'll just use a little corner of this little piece here. Or maybe I actually like that piece right there. I think that's really interesting as well. So this piece of collage paper is perfectly fine. I just think I can make it something I like even better, which is why I'm gonna add some dark blue to this, add some contrast. And the question is what to roll on top of it. So all I'm looking for is a darker color. Now, a lot of that is the same color as that, so that's not dark enough for me. I'm gonna add some more, and hopefully that's dark enough right there. You know, I keep going back to this one because I love it so much. Okay, here we go. Do I love it? I don't know. But if I don't say I love it right away, I probably need another layer. So we'll see if I can do anything more with that. But this one, I love. Well, let me correct it. I like a lot. Again, I'm always going for love. And I'm thinking if I put some dark stripes in here, I might get it into the love category. I'm already liking it much better. To me, that's a finished piece. Love that. Love all the layers. You know, so for all of these papers, what you're doing is just looking at the paper and say, do I love it? If you don't love it, that means another layer. And you just keep layering until it's something that really appeals to you. And that is just scrumptious to me. So here's an earlier paper. I'm definitely thinking something darker. Add some contrast here. I think I'm gonna use this one. Trying to sop up as much of the paint as I possibly can onto here. Oh yeah. I just love this roller. That made the whole thing. Beautiful texture underneath, and then you have that beautiful pattern on top. Love, love, love. So bring this one back. Let's see if this works. Oh, wow. That's beautiful. And this one I like, don't love yet. So more white paint. I'm deciding on what color to put on based on what kind of contrast do I need here. This is already kind of in a medium value. Maybe I could get it in a kind of a lighter value by adding a layer on top. So I've only used this particular one, I think once or twice here. So rather than roll this, I think I'm gonna paint it. I don't want it to pull too much when I roll it through. Well, don't love it. I'm gonna try the other one because I seem to have better success with this one. Okay, let's see if this works. I like this better. I do like that one better. Well, I don't love this one, but ironically, I love this pattern on this one. Yeah, I absolutely, totally love this. Beautiful. And I think I can just finish off this side here. That is a quiet piece of light collage fodder. I love it. And now I might as well finish this one off here. You know, that's not my favorite. However, I might actually end up liking it because you need different kind of values, and I think it's kind of interesting. So I'm going to keep this the way it is. So this is I have nothing to lose. I don't like it that much. So I'm just gonna go for broke and add a darker value on top. Let's see what happens. And already I'm liking it so much more. It's kind of interesting because it's got tons of layers underneath, which makes it a very interesting collage paper to me. And not all of the paint is dry on the under layers as well. So it's kind of picking up, which I think is also interesting. Wow, from being just okay to I really like that. Even though I've covered up the original design several times already, I can see myself using that. I think it's lovely. It's got a lot of texture to it too. It's gonna dry with all the texture. So I've got a couple extra pieces. I've got some extra paint here. So I wanna use all my paint up. And this has been one of my favorites right here. I don't wanna add any more paint. Yeah, that's pretty. Not exciting, but you know, sometimes you need something that's a little plainer. And a little piece right there could be really beautiful in a collage. I like all this light spots right here. We'll do one more. That could be a really pretty color contrast. Although, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm kind of in love with this roller thing. Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. You know, sometimes these things just surprise you. You have no idea how this is gonna turn out until you just try it. Oh. So when I have a reaction like, oh gosh, I know this is a paper I'm gonna use, because it's instantly in the love category. Instantly love. I'm gonna call this a day with this final paper. I'm gonna spread this paint out, turn it into a skin, so I'll just let it dry. And at the end, I'll show you all the dried papers. Here is the final grouping of my finished papers. They don't look so good so far away, so I will take them all up as soon as they're dry, and I'll show them to you all together. All my papers are dry now. In total, I made 23 in just about an hour, although, of course, the film was sped up so that you didn't watch it for an hour. However, I don't like all of them equally. So I've got about 14 that I love. The rest, we'll probably get another layer sometime in the future. So I have a pretty large pile of papers that I experiment with, you know, over time and just add more layers to them. But let me put these aside since I'm probably not going to use these right away, and I'll show you the ones that I am in love with and most likely will show up in a collage fairly soon. So this one I absolutely love because it's the envelope one. All of these are really usable for me. For each one of them, I would say, yes, I love them. And that's my criteria for wanting to use them. I don't use anything that I can't actually say, yes, love that. And I do love every single one of these. When I get to the point where I say something like, oh, wow, or I want to eat that because it's so delicious looking, then I know I've got a good one. So many beautiful papers. So I hope that you enjoy making your rolling pin papers, and please tag me on Instagram at catrains.artist. I'd love to see what you made, and I'll post them to my stories. I hope that you enjoy making these as much as I did. To learn how to make many more types of collage papers, check out the links that are about to appear right here. And be sure to check out my free 5-day online class, Collage Kickstart. The link to sign up is under the video description. And I'll see you back here next week for Tune In Tuesday.